What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. And what I got here today was something I hadn't initially planned on picking up. It was kind of a last-minute decision, and it's a good thing I did because this happens to be limited to 5,000 units. And we're talking about from Synapse Films from 1983, the Deadly Spawn 4K limited edition. Now, the Deadly Spawn is a film I had heard of. I've seen trailers. I've seen previous releases, but I never actually picked it up, and watched the movie. So I'm really coming in as totally blind, other than knowing it was a creature feature. And honestly, it was Christian Hannah Horror channel, Planet CHH, that I was watching his review on it, and it kind of got me interested in wanting to check it out. And I picked it up, and again, this is limited to 5,000, so I'm really glad I did. Ordered directly from Synapse. I know there has been a lot of talk about the price point being pretty high. For some people, it was a little pricey. I'm not going to lie, but to their credit, I think they did a really good job of putting a lot of pizzazz on this release, if you will. Is it worth the price point? Don't know, but I do know that it was shipped and sent to me within days, so I'm perfectly okay with that. Like I said, I have no history with it until just a few minutes ago when I actually just watched the film for the first time. And my thoughts on it are, if you don't know, those of you, a few of you may not know about the Deadly Spawn. We're talking it's a 1980, creature feature. You have a meteor drops down, like every good, science fiction creature feature does. You got a meteor falling into space. You have a couple guys go to check it out and unleash. Well, actually, the creature probably unleashed, but it's basically feeding on them, and it finds its way basically into the basement of a house. And you have a family and friends who are trying to survive their encounter with the Deadly Spawn and its spawn. And it's, like I said, it's a very low budget film, shot on 16 millimeter. And which the point, there's two ways to watch this film. You can watch it in the 1:6:6 aspect ratio, which is basically your pillar box, your standard old 4x, I forgot what the 4x3 I think is, old-fashioned TV way, if you will, or I think they have like a 1:6:6, which is a little bit of open matte widescreen. And I decided to watch it in the pillar box format. I think it was more the original aspect ratio, which you would want to see a 16 millimeter film. I said I've blown up a bit. Your preference will vary. Immediately, what I like about the film is it's got a certain charm to it because of its low budget and because it's shot in 16 millimeter, and it feels so. I don't want to say authentic. That's not really the right word, but there's something about it that I said it's got charm to it. It just, you can tell it's made with love. I put it that way. It really shows. This is something everyone enjoyed making. And it's got some great gore special effects. It's got for what it's budget. I mean, they don't. Everything is put into. I mean, the gore is great. The creature designs are amazing. Yeah, it's all puppeteering, and it's again for the budget I'm sure this film had. It's right there. I mean, they spare no expense. At least that's the way it looks with the puppets. It's a great creature design. Something that wouldn't look anywhere near as good in CGI today. I mean, it looks really good. I mean, granted, they're puppets, so some of this stuff is going to be a little but it's very good. It's not quite Audrey 2, levels from Little Shop of Horrors, but you can see that it's really good. And of course, you have also you have the giant spawn, then you have its little bitty baby spawns, which are pretty cool and gross you out. I said there's great gore effects. Just look really good for what they have. There's no expensive blood. There's a nice moody atmosphere that starts to film out and gives you a great creep factor when the opening when they find where the creature is discovered in this base, because the whole premise the movie it's covered in rain the whole film. It's just raining. It's a thunderstorm during this whole day, which sets the tone immediately. And then people are going in this basement, and it's dank, it's wet because it's flooding a bit, it's dark, and it's got a really creepy vibe. And for me, especially because I hate that kind of stuff. I hate dank, wet basements. It just really creeps me out because it's when they just feel cold. They're cold. You can just feel the moisture and its wetness. You don't know what's creeping around the corners. It's a really creepy feeling, and it really does a good job with that in this film. There's a scene where a woman comes down in there, and well, first of all, a guy comes down, checks out the basement. He knows that it's wet, puts on rubber shoes, and walks out. Okay, that's fine. Then the woman comes down later on, and she walks on barefoot, and that just freaks me out. It's like she's touching the wet, cold concrete in this basement. It's disgusting, and that's probably the scariest thing for me in the whole movie. But yeah, there's a lot of that, creep out, dread, and it's kind of silly at points too, but not overly. It's not. I don't think it goes into camp. You have some kind of funny bits with some of the characters who just actually it's not funny bits. They just seem like funny characters, or what they're doing is kind of silly. Mostly with the aunt and dealing with her mother, as they had this little vegetarian party with other ladies that ensues into madness. And of course, you've got your college kids who are like into biology and science, man. You're trying to figure out what's going on, but you've also got a young kid who is like a precursor to Tommy Jarvis. He's big into monster movies and masks and all that, and he's basically the hero going to be here. He's going to take on the deadly spawn, as it were, very much again like a Tommy Jarvis, which this is like a year prior to the final chapter being released. But overall, it's a fun film. It really is. I mean, it keeps me invested. It's got a nice, simple charm to it. The effects are great. The puppeteering is, for what they have, is really good. It's enjoyable, and it's got a great ending. I do love the ending. I'm not going to spoil it here if you've never seen it, but I do like it a lot. So I really enjoyed and would recommend The Deadly Spawn to check out. If you love creature features and just having fun with a movie, then The Deadly Spawn is definitely what you should check out. So, what about this Synapse release? Well, as you see here, it's a big thick box, which very Arrow reminiscent. Which I know they've worked with Arrow before, like when they released a few years back the Phenomenon box. It was very similar to this, but here's the see the Spawn there. And in the back, you guys, again, this is a great artwork and, very telling of what happens in the film as your spine. There you go. Have it right. Nope, up there. There we go. It's backwards. I can't tell. Okay. So inside we've got slipcover, and there's a great shot here. It's very reminiscent of Jurassic Park. Well, Laura Dern is, trying to put the power back on, and she comes across Samuel L. Jackson's arm. Very reminiscent. It makes you wonder if Steven Spielberg saw this and used that. And there's great scene. This again, the gore in this is fantastic. So we've got a nice, big, thick case, artwork, special features in the back. Now, this is a 4K and Blu-ray. So here we go. Here is your, turn this around, your 4K and your Blu-ray. You have special features on both, I believe. I didn't check out the Blu-ray, but only the 4K. And the 4K does have all the special features on here. You do have a reversible artwork, which one of alternate titles, The Return of the Aliens, The Deadly Spawn. I think I read that they were trying to capitalize on Alien, which came out in '79 at this point. So we're still about 3 years away from Aliens. So we're just any Alien film that was out in that early '80s period, we're going to try and capitalize on Alien. We've got your Synapse catalog and the lobby cards. Now, I know a lot of people have different opinions, or maybe don't care for the cards that are put into several releases that come out, which I understand because most of them are just movie stills, no big deal. It's kind of meh. However, and I should point this out, what I like about these is that these appear to be real reproductions of actual lobby cards that would have been put in a theater around 1983 or so, around this time, which is something they don't do anymore. And honestly, I don't, even when I was going to theater, I don't recall seeing lobby cards. I probably never hung out in a lobby, paid much attention as a kid. But I know this was a very popular thing, especially for, well, actually, a lot of films. I know a lot of horror films you can find all these lobby cards that are really popular. So that's what these appear to be reproductions of. And, you've got different images. Here's one. Of course, your artwork, your poster stuff, but you've also got, black and white image. Again, these are stuff that will be like in a lobby, under the glass, or on display somewhere before where the film was playing. Put that around. Okay, great bloody gore effects. And also, I want to point out too, something I noticed as far as image quality. Again, this is a 60 millimeter in 4K. I did watch the 133 version, which looked great. It stands out. The colors are great. The color red is very, very prominent in this movie, especially with the in the 4K. This really sticks out. There's so much red, not just like blood, but I mean props, effects, set dressing. A lot of red. It really, really stands out. And I'm sure that there's so much red, it has to be a conscious decision. I'm not sure. Maybe if I listen to commentary, hear more about that. But it's, yeah. Here's image. And again, these gore effects are just great. Especially like, that some of the head effect, the head sculpts are pretty cool. And the creature designs are great. So, because these are nice, like I said, these are nice reproductions of lobby cards from the film, real lobby cards. And I do appreciate that more as just, regular, random stills from the film. So that is the Blu-ray case. And of course, you've got a booklet here. Let's see. It's your all kinds of. Actually, I think this is a lot of stuff from Fangoria archive articles. You can see there, and some other things, reproductions of these articles. Let's see, some great stuff in here. This will be fun to go through. A lot of different. Roy Rogers and Batman are featured in here somehow. So definitely interesting to read how this all works out. But again, these are more reproductions of magazine articles and whatnot from that time, which is pretty cool. And of course, you've got a poster. Pull this out. Be very, very careful with the poster. Let's see here. Okay, so here is there. Deadly Spawn's really cool. And on the back, you've got what appears to be. I hesitate to say Japanese because I don't know, but it's some kind of Asian market. It could be. Who knows what it could be? But there you go. If I can pull that back, maybe. So that's pretty cool. Very good artwork on that. And again, this is just a really nice release all the way around. But let's take a look at what features are on here. So again, this is a print run of only 5,000 units, which is pretty cool. You've got this 2-disc set featuring the film and extras on both the 4K and a Blu-ray. Of course, the 50-page perfect book, our perfect bound book. We've gone through all that, but here's the features. Brand new 4K restoration from the original uncut 16mm camera negative by Synapse Films, presented in 2 aspect ratios, 1:371 and 1:661. 4K disc is presented in Dolby Vision, HDR10 compatible. For the first time ever, the audio option features the original producer's mix, as well as the 21st Century Film Corporation's theatrical mix and lossless DTS HD master audio. Now, I will tell you that I did listen to the theatrical mix. It was fine. Nothing really standing out. Again, it's a mono mix either way. I didn't listen to the producers one, just the theatrical one, so I'm going to go back and check it out, see what there's differences on that. Let's see. You have 3 audio commentaries featuring the producer, director, cast, and crew. Face Off, interview with actress Elizabeth Marner Brooks, aka Elisa Neal. Return to the Spawning Ground, a new featurette featuring a modern-day tour of the house location, which is actually from like 2022, I think it was. A visit with John Dodds and the Deadly Spawn, vintage featurette. The Deadly Spawn prequel sampler. Various TV news clips featuring promotions and interviews for the film. Take One, vintage public access show. Segment featuring an interview with editor Mark Harwood. Original audition tapes, behind-the-scenes footage, alternate opening credit sequence, still gallery, TV spots, and theatrical trailer. So yeah, this thing is absolutely loaded. As far as the features, I said I don't think that there are anything new here, except maybe that interview with Elizabeth Marner Brooks, because that was copyrighted as 2024. So that could be done this, prior to releasing this. But like I said, the house tour going through the sets was copyrighted as 22. And what did I watch? I think there's the only 2 features I actually watched at this point. But those were pretty interesting. Again, these were done on a previous Synapse release, I'm thinking, or whoever may have had it, I'm not sure. But regardless, this is a stacked release. I'm glad I got this. Now I can't compare it to anything else. I've never seen Deadly Spawn. As I said, it's the only copy I've ever had, and I'm sure this will be the only copy I'll ever get. I can't imagine doing much better. I will back to I want to say, because I almost forgot something I didn't want to point out. Again, as good as the picture looks in the 4K, it looks phenomenal. Probably too good. A film like this probably doesn't need. This is like a film you want to see on VHS. It feels like it belongs on VHS. Again, that's not saying anything wrong. You can't see it or enjoy it this way. But it's like sometimes some of these classics, maybe these kind of low budget films, you're almost making them, when they look too good, it's almost like, oh wow, maybe we should have dumbed it down a bit. But that's just an observation. That's really not really a point here or there. That's something I was like watching and thinking, wow, I can just imagine, this would probably how to be on a, old, tube TV on a VHS. But nonetheless, the 4K looks fantastic. It looks really great. It's a good stacked release. I recommend picking up. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I think you will too. Okay, that is it for me. If you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've seen the Deadly Spawn, whatever release you may have it. Did you pick this one up? What are your thoughts on it? Or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.